Hello, and welcome once again to Friday Focus, where we do not focus on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Why? Well, because what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. We find this in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. So today, Friday Focus is continuing our exploration, if you like, the book of Revelation, and we're discussing chapter 5. So Revelation 5 continues the focus on the throne. However, now John focuses on what the Lord on the throne is holding. It's a scroll. The writer takes care to mention two things about the scroll. So let's just take a look at the scroll for a moment. We'll see what John has to say about it. The first thing that we realize and read is that it's written on both sides. Now, this in itself is unusual since it was not common practice for a scroll to be written on both sides. The indication is that there was a lot of information contained on the scroll. And some additional information that you might find interesting is ancient scrolls were read horizontally, that is, this way, and not vertically, this way. The rolls of the scroll, where it was rolled up on each side, were on the left and the right, and the writing lay in narrow columns about 3 inches or 8 centimeters wide, written on a substance that somewhat resembled brown paper. The scroll was held in the left hand, and it was unrolled with the right. So as you were reading, you would just kind of continue to unroll it and roll up with the left. As the reading went on, the previously read portion was re-rolled. Now, on such a typical scroll, the book of Revelation would fill a scroll of about 15 feet or 4.5 meters long. The second thing that we learn about the scroll is that it's sealed with 7 seals. Now, when a scroll was finished being written, it would have been tied closed with a string. And then over the string, on top of the knot, wax was poured, and at times there would be an impression stamped into the warm wax, and that would indicate who authored it and who sent it. In this case, these were not 7 separate writings, each separated by a seal, but 7 seals all set on one scroll. So the scroll was rolled up, and then there were 7 seals put on it. All the seals must be opened before the scroll could be read. Well, speaking of before the scroll could be read, what about the writing on the scroll? Many different scholars down through the centuries have suggested their ideas for what information was contained within the scroll. Some have suggested that it was both the Old and New Testaments. Others have indicated it was fulfilled prophecy. However, both of these ideas look back and not forward. Do you remember? John was told to write the things which would take place later. There are also those who think that the writing contained God's claim of divorce against Israel. However, let me be quick to say, there is little to no evidence to support that particular idea. Now, some believe the scroll contained the full text of Revelation or even extra chapters. I would say this is most unlikely for a couple of reasons. First, considering how the idea of the scroll was communicated, and second, it's obvious since we are reading and studying the book of Revelation, we've been found worthy to open the book and read and study it. But with the scroll, no one could be found worthy except the one on the throne. Other individuals believe that the scroll contained the title deed to planet Earth. Now, this view has a certain attraction, especially in light of the fact that after the tribulation, Jesus is found to be ruling the earth. Such a view cannot be demonstrated with any certainty, and the best connection to this idea is found in Jeremiah chapter 32, verses 6 through 15, where Jewish title deeds are described as being sealed. One could also ask, if God has to get the title back, when was it lost? Some might answer, well, it was lost at the fall. Yet, long after the fall of humanity in Eden, the psalmist writes in Psalm 24, verse 1, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. The world and all its people belong to him." For me, the best explanation is what Barclay's commentary writes. He says, God's will, his final settlement of the affairs of the universe, is what is contained in the scroll. Now, upon what do we base this idea that it was God's will settling the entire affairs of the universe? Well, it comes from looking at Roman life during the time of John. Under Roman law, wills were sealed with 7 seals. Each would be the seal of a witness who validated the truth and accuracy of the contents. Examples of such wills were those left by the emperors Augustus and Vespasian for their successors. Perhaps the idea here is that God has a book, a scroll in which the history of the world has been written, past, present, and future. He is in total control. We have already read Psalm 24:1, where we are told that the earth and everything in it belong to him. He initiated its beginning, and he alone can initiate the consummation of history. The one worthy to take the scroll and open it, who was that? Let's just take a look. I think it naturally follows that only the one who has both initiated history and the consummation of history is worthy enough to take the scroll and open it. That one is Jesus. As it is written in Revelation chapter 5, verse 5, "Look, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the heir to David's throne, has won the victory. He is worthy to open the scroll and its 7 seals." You see, Jesus is both the Lion of the tribe of Judah and the heir to David's throne, as expressed in prophecy. And you'll find all kinds of references to that effect. Genesis 49, verses 8 to 9, Isaiah 31, verse 4, Hosea chapter 11, verse 10, and then have a look at Isaiah 11, verse 10, and Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. It should be noted that Jesus himself said in Matthew chapter 28, verse 18, "I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth." Jesus is therefore the logical choice as being the only one to take the scroll and open it. He's not only depicted as a lion and heir to David's throne, but in this chapter, he is the Lamb. What do you mean, the Lamb, you say? Well, let's examine the Lamb. The Lamb is represented as being both sympathetic and powerful. There the Lamb stood, bearing all the marks of sacrifice, the hero of heaven and earth. Every mark, every scar clearly narrates the story of redemption. As it is written of Jesus in the chorus we used to sing, I kind of miss it these days. "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy, holy is he. Sing a new song to him who sits on heaven's mercy seat." Thank you, Jesus, for what you did. Thank you for redemption. Thank you that you live in us through the Spirit of grace. Thank you for everything. You are most worthy, and we submit and we bow to you. This is Dr. Vic Hollyfriend in his grace. If you have any comments or questions, you can address them to me at vixfridayfocus@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. God bless you. Have a terrific week.